Hello viewers, welcome to Zebian classes. In the previous video, I have already discussed the Anglo-Saxon age and literature. Today, I am going to give you a brief outline of the next literary era, that is the Anglo-Norman period or the Anglo-French period. Before moving on, I would like to mention here that after the Old English period, we have the Middle English period. And this Middle English period is divided into three sections. The first part or the first section is the Anglo-Norman period or the age before Chaucer. Okay. The next we have the age of Chaucer, and lastly we have the age of revival or the age after Chaucer. And now let's look at the Anglo-Norman period. So this period started with the attack of the Norman dynasty with the Norman conquest in 1066 AD. So the Norman king William the Conqueror, he defeated King Harold. King Harold, who was the last Anglo-Saxon king, so he defeated him in the Battle of Hastings in 1066 AD. Okay. Hastings is a place located in England. So he defeated King Harold and inhabited Britain. And that's how the new era started. I have already mentioned in my previous video that Anglo-Saxons were uncivilized people. They had no evolved form of language. But French, on the other hand, was already a refined and developed language. So what happened? Both these languages naturally influenced each other. The Norman French dialect was spoken by the upper strata of society, and Old English were spoken by the lower strata of society. So, as a result, these French influences got merged with the Old English, and it slowly got infused into the English language, and that's how Middle English formed. And as a result, literature also evolved, and it impacted literature in a very positive way. It is believed that more than around 30,000 words were introduced into the English diction. So it became more refined and sophisticated. During the Anglo-Saxon period, heroic and religious poetry were written. There was only heroic and biblical themes, and that was too in rudimentary form. But now religious and didactic literature were written. Okay, and rhyming has also been introduced. Before that, it was only poetry was only written in alliterative verse, but now rhyming has been introduced. Very important. The Owl and the Nightingale is one of the famous poems we have during this period, and it is considered as the first debate poem in English literature. Another kind of literature that dominated during this period was the romances. So, in this genre of poetry, we have subject matters like love, adventure, courtly manners, chivalry, etc. And these romances were divided into three categories. So, the first one we have is the Matter of France. In this category, we have the stories of French legendary characters. In the Matter of Rome, we have the stories of Alexander the Great, and in the Matter of Britain, Matter of England, in this we have stories of King Arthur and other legendary characters. Okay. Another very important chronicle written by Le Mans Brut, also known as the Chronicle of Britain. And Le Mans was an English priest, and he wrote Brut. during this time. It's basically a chronicle. It's basically a chronology of the English rulers. Okay, so we see a trend of historical work during this period also. One of the historical events happened during this time was the opening of two universities, the Oxford and the Cambridge. So at this time, these two universities were set up, and London, it became the educational hub. It became the educational center. So it impacted literature also. Education became more secular, and it was no more static. So secular writing started with the opening of these universities. It was also at this time when debate and logic culture started happening. People started to question, they started to look for reason, and they also started reading the religious text, the Bible, and they started questioning the sole authorities of the church. Another finest example of Middle English literature was a set of four Middle English poems. These are Pearl, Sir Gawain and the Green Knights, Patience, and Purity. But the authorship of these poems are unknown. So, scholars often refer to the poet as the Pearl poet. Okay, and now, last but not the least, a kind of chronicle was written during this period. It was Historia Regum Britanniae. It was written by Geoffrey of Monmouth in 1136, and uh, it's a chronicle, a complete history of the cells. So that's it. And if we just have to, if we just have to sum up this period, we can say that it's very important because it formed the base for English literature for the coming eras, and that will be taken to new heights by Geoffrey Chaucer. So, in the next video, I will talk about the age of Chaucer, and stay tuned. Thank you so much.